It is over for another Tesla competitor. Ghost Autonomy is ghosting the market. You can still reach out to them. They have an email on their website, but officially they have just shut down worldwide operations. Expect a lot more companies to follow. Remember this chart with Tesla at the bottom? Let me fix it real quick. Here we go. Tesla is definitely at the top. This company is likely to fall next. Can you spend twice its annual revenue on CEO's private jets last year? And their stock just dropped about 30% earlier. Elon Musk shared some good news with us. Tesla stock investors, production rate and fully considered cost are the challenges for the Megapack, but demand for stationary batteries is super high. I think Tesla might end up doing more total joules in stationary than mobile long term. That post was in response to Tesla has reduced Megapack pricing by $10,000. I think price cuts for vehicles compared to the Megapack business, these are quite different because with vehicles, I think people make emotional decisions often when we choose which vehicle to buy, but with mega packs it's very clear which one you should buy. You just make a spreadsheet and you compare all the specs. Tesla is the best, let's go. Car buyers don't really do that. They don't make spreadsheets about how I feel about this car versus this car, at least not the absolute majority of the people. Well, that's quite a headline from Electric. Elon Musk's XAI poaches another engineer from Tesla in a clear conflict of interest. This is about Tesla's computer vision chief Ethan Knight leaving Tesla and joining XAI. We have some new information since I last covered it yesterday. Ethan is very talented, but vision chief would be overstating things. There are over 200 excellent engineers in the Tesla AI autonomy team. Tesla's pace of progress with autonomy is accelerating. The talent war for AI is the craziest talent war I've ever seen, says Elon Musk. Although whoever is running the auto wiper department hasn't done a great job so far. Also, Elon states that Ethan was going to join OpenAI, so it was either XAI or them. Ethan is the fourth Tesla engineer who has moved from Tesla to XAI. I really want to know what's going on with Elon's compensation package. I don't know how important Ethan is to Tesla, but if he is important and if Elon did have the compensation package already, maybe he would have made some sort of an effort to keep him at Tesla instead of at XAI. Electric writes, a few years prior, Elon Musk had left OpenAI officially over a conflict of interest with Tesla over the automaker's own AI effort. It's not clear how starting his own AI startup would be different. Unsurprisingly, it didn't take long for conflicts of interest to pop up. And it really doesn't help how the whole situation looks, keeping in mind that Elon very recently asked for 25% of voting control over Tesla because of his fear that some entity could take over the company to control its AI projects, and therefore Elon does not want to build future AI projects at Tesla. Elon said, I am uncomfortable growing Tesla to be a leader in AI and robotics without having 25% voting control. So while I certainly do not take this as good news, and I assume that Elon is telling the truth, it would be nice, however, for the board to indeed verify that there was an offer from OpenAI to recruit Ethan Knight. But I think for us Tesla stock investors, it's important to remember that Andre left, and despite that, FSD is making more progress and faster progress than ever before. And I became a Tesla stock investor in early 2019, and I remember times when we had multiple fairly high-level executive departures, and that was made out to be a massive deal, and in the long term it turned out to be absolutely nothing. Look right here. I googled 2019 list of executives who left Tesla, and this is for the period of 2018 and 2019. And this list goes on for a long time. And look right here, this was not looking good. And I'm not kidding about the number of these lines. Check this out. It just keeps on going forever and ever, and it just doesn't end. Tesla is a huge company. It would be crazy to expect no one to leave. Omar says engineers are able to move between Tesla, SpaceX, etc. if they like. Is anyone seriously trying to claim that Tesla AI team isn't getting the job done? The first thing this story gets wrong is thinking that the progress of FSD is limited by engineers. Are we just going to keep them around for no reason? I think better engineers certainly help the progress. And we're getting some clarification here. When can we finally vote on your new compensation package, Elon? You deserve it even more. Elon says the support is super appreciated, so Elon definitely wants to see that compensation package. He continues, I obviously don't need the money personally, but I'm concerned about not having voting power to influence Tesla to do the right thing. And not only is compensation important for Elon also said that Tesla is increasing compensation for their AI engineering team to try and prevent other companies from successfully poaching Tesla's employees with massive offers, because a few times they have been successful. Here's some pretty big news. Tesla has reportedly finally begun production of right-hand drive cars that can Berlin. Wait for it. For export to India later this year. Reuters writes that India is the third largest car market in the world. Reuters continues, a team from Tesla is expected to visit India later this month to look at sites for a local car manufacturing plant that would require an investment of about $2 billion. Said to people who declined to be named because the plans are not public yet. We are not getting a precise date other than by the end of the year, so I would expect something maybe in November, December. Ideally, though, I would like to see that this summer. Do you remember Morgan Stanley's $10 price target from 2019? Well, now Morgan Stanley is reducing its Tesla stock price target by $10. A lot can happen in 5 years. Keep in mind, Tesla stock had stock splits also. Tesla just cut the price of the Model Y in Australia by up to 9.3% for the performance model and 6.4% for the long-range model, but only 2.3% for the most popular rear-wheel drive model. We don't know exactly how much Tesla spent on advertising in 2023, but Grok seems to either know it somehow or just guessing. Either way, I'm not sure if this is reliable, but it says Tesla spent $6.5 million on advertising last year, so that's basically almost nothing compared to Tesla's revenue, which is close to $100 billion per year. Omar shared some data. FSD 12 required an intervention. It's never going to work. A year ago, Omar says, that same drive required 5 interventions. Before that, 15. Do the math. The Tesla economist did some math, and if that progress continues exponentially, he basically predicts that FSD would be solved in 3 years, and in 4 years, it would be an order of magnitude safer than human driving. I think this is as bullish as I have seen the Tesla economist in the last 9 months, probably. And Elon Musk agrees with Omar here. FSD licensing earnings will exceed Tesla's auto business earnings. Good chance that turns out to be true, said Elon. Whoa, Lucid Air discounts reach up to $30,000 in the US. This is good news. As expected, orders for the Model 3 Highland in South Korea are exploding. This is what I'm talking about. FSD V12 navigates construction zones incredibly well. Swear says an anonymous follower wanted me to share this video of Tesla's FSD supervised V12 0.3.3 navigating a construction area. At least in the construction zones I was in, it could have been a robotaxi already. And V11 would freak out around cones, but with V12, I did not have a single tiny issue with cones or poles. And one more thing I like about FSD V12 quite a bit more compared to V11, the nag. The nag is nowhere near as bad in V12. It's still there, but it doesn't annoy me anymore. And to beat the nag, I can still turn up the music volume. I don't need to actually try to turn the steering wheel. I just turn up or turn down the music volume by a little bit. Regular Truck says 0 interventions, a 28-mile ride. He says, I am floored. One more thing I noticed about V12, which is slightly annoying, but I think it can be easily fixed. Then I stop at a red light, and when it's time to go, sometimes when it starts going, it doesn't just smoothly accelerate all the way to the speed limit. It starts and then it doesn't accelerate anymore. It doesn't brake, but it doesn't keep going. And then it starts accelerating and then it stops accelerating. No braking, no slowing down really, but just accelerating. It's like this sort of like, why can't you just go smoothly? It didn't happen every single time, but if I had a passenger with me, I would have been asked, why do you keep doing that? The first few times, probably the passenger wouldn't mind, but after the 7th time, I would have a question from my passenger that I would have to answer. Maybe just Canadian traffic lights, I don't know. I haven't heard anyone say anything like that. And in the videos that I see, FSD videos, I don't see that behavior. So maybe it's just Vancouver or Canada thing. And I definitely relate to Omar here. I am starting to see more and more often it reacting to stuff before I notice it. The highway stack on V12 is a substantial improvement over the V11 highway stack. Unlike the city stack, it's not end-to-end, and it isn't a shocking improvement over its predecessor, but it's a solid update that resolves a lot of issues. After I had a phantom braking situation on V11 in the city, I didn't use it on the highway because I was afraid, well, if I have phantom braking on a highway when there's a vehicle behind me, that's going to be an accident. So I didn't use it on the highways, but I did use it in the city. And I haven't had a single phantom braking situation yet, at least with V12. So I would love to try FSD V12 on the highway too. Phantom braking for skid marks, heat haze is almost gone. Maneuvering around traffic is much more assertive and misses fewer opportunities. Now, he said phantom braking is almost gone. Does that mean it just slows down much slower? Because when I had phantom braking on V11, it was not subtle. It was, okay, we gotta stop now, otherwise we're gonna crash kind of phantom braking. On the other hand, with V12, often it notices things a few milliseconds before I notice them. For example, the vehicle starts slowing down. I'm like, why are you slowing down? And I turn right. And, oh, there's a car coming. That's why. Okay, that makes sense. Now, in all of these cases so far, I would have noticed the thing that I had to slow down for, but it's just an extra nice feature for the slowdown to start happening a bit sooner. It makes me feel safer. Speed control around other traffic is much improved. Unusual intersections and lane configurations are better handled. Yeah, speed control, that was another thing that I had a slight issue with V11 on highways. Unusual intersections and lane configurations are better handled. Passing lane use and yield behavior are much improved. Truck offsetting is so good now that you don't notice it unless you are paying attention. Oh yeah, I notice this with V12 so much. If I'm going in my lane and there is a huge truck or a bus or a semi on the right side, it's going to move to make space for that semi, which makes me feel so much more comfortable. That's one thing that I hated about V11. It wouldn't really do that. Overcautious behavior resulting in unnecessary braking, offsetting around other road users is almost gone. It still suffers from missing and misreading speed signs, and map errors continue to be an issue. Overall, a great improvement in user experience even compared to the most recent V11 versions. And James here explains why the highway stack hasn't gone end to end yet. The planning horizon for highway needs to be longer, which requires some additional tricks. We didn't see FSD on highway until long after it was available on the city stack, so it's not surprising that end to end on highway might take a bit longer than it did on city. After driving on V12 in the city, I think one of the most perhaps annoying things that it does is lack of future planning. It does plan, but not enough. It sometimes doesn't choose the right lane and then it needs to change to the right lane last second. It usually doesn't make these mistakes, but when it does, it's really annoying. During a 1-hour drive in the city, that happened to me 3 times. One of these times, when I drove through that area, I made the same mistake that FSD made. Actually, I completely missed the turn because I was on the wrong lane, which only allows you to go forward. So I just completely missed it. FSD did not miss it. FSD just stopped. And that's why if I go to a new area now that I have never been to, I will want to drive on FSD. I wonder if the planning horizon is significantly limited by the hardware. I asked James what he thinks. James Stevenson says, my first 4 drives with V12, 1 hour of driving, have been interventionless, except for me wanting to change lanes sooner or park somewhere else. Yeah, wanting to change lanes sooner has been my main issue with V12. 1 out of these 3 times, it created a situation that was not safe, I think. The car was going at about 35 miles an hour or so, and it wanted to change lanes, but on the left lane to which it wanted to change, it was basically bumper to bumper traffic, but the traffic was going pretty fast. So there was no way to get into that lane unless you wanted to potentially risk an accident because it was trying to do that last second. So I just took over and I took a long cut because I was on the wrong lane. If it made the decision to change the lanes 3 seconds earlier, the problem would have been completely solved in that situation. Wow, pretty much the same number of people voted for each option. Tesla's FSD is happening slower than I thought, about as expected, faster than I thought. In my case specifically, it's happening faster than I expected in the last 1.5 months. Before that time frame, I think it's going about as I expected. And of course, the first V12 demo by Elon Musk, that was mind-blowing. But then we had some leaked videos of V12 early in January this year, and I was like, man, this doesn't seem, I mean, it seems better, but it's nowhere near as better as what the live stream showed. But now after trying it myself, yeah, it's much, much, much better. I think if you live in a pretty small town, you will have drives without any interventions. The only reason why I had some of these interventions is because I'm driving in fairly difficult conditions. If I drive in my neighborhood, which is pretty easy to drive in, I can go 10 minutes in any direction pretty much, and I am pretty sure that I can have a 3-hour drive without any interventions. I'm very highly confident I can pull it off. If you give me a few days, I will definitely have drives like that. But if I go downtown, yeah, I think every 5 to 10 minutes, I will have an intervention. And when I say intervention, I don't mean a safety critical disengagement. I just mean it, for example, chose the wrong lane. It can still get out of a station safely, but it's just, I'm not comfortable. My experience so far has been there's about one safety critical intervention or disengagement per 1 hour of driving, at least here in Vancouver, Canada. So I'm thinking maybe it would make a lot more sense for Tesla to first deploy robotaxis in relatively smaller cities, not tiny cities, but cities with populations of 50,000, 100,000, 200,000 people, because in conditions that are not easy, but not tricky. Wow. Just wow. Wow. It just does it perfectly. And every single time, almost, that it made the wrong lane choice, it was on the right lane. If you don't have a city with these things, then probably the vehicle is going to be fine. Anyway, I'm not saying that Tesla will deploy robotaxis in small cities first, but after trying FSD V12, I think that approach might make a lot of sense, because in big cities, New York City, Manhattan, you're going to have an edge case once every few minutes. Whereas in the neighborhood I live in, you have one edge case maybe, I don't know, once every few hours. And when I was driving in downtown, most of the edge cases, it handled no issue, without any issues. It just sometimes it did have some lane selection issues. There's a heated debate between Warren and James about the next generation vehicle. And it's not a debate just between those two. It seems like there are two camps. One camp says Tesla didn't make a mistake by not focusing on the next generation vehicle sooner. And the camp that James is in says, no, if Tesla focused on that vehicle sooner, even though there were supply chain issues, even though there would have been cannibalization of the other vehicles during that short period of time, while we had massive supply chain issues in the long term right now, vehicle volumes would be growing. There's also disagreement about the timeline of when Tesla started focusing on the next generation vehicle development. The Elon Musk biography suggests that it started in 2023 February. But then if you look at the earnings call from Q3 of 2022, so months before then, and Elon Musk said that the next generation platform is the primary focus of our new vehicle development. I think this summarizes this whole debate the best. The meeting with the execs and Elon happened in September 2022 per the biography. That is when they presented the idea to use the same vehicle platform. The earnings call was in October 2022. He had aligned with the concept after that September meeting. The design review session is what took place in February 2023, but the point is, until the team gave him the idea in September of 2022 to build it on the same platform, nothing had been done. The earnings call where he first publicly announced that Compact was deprioritized, happened in January 2022. And the biography says on page 504 that Musk teased the possibility of the car in 2020, but over the next 2 years, he repeatedly vetoed the idea. Warren, though, says in April 2022, they clearly said they were working on the next generation vehicle platform, but I think that was the robotaxi. Omar says they chose to focus on scaling the 3 and the Y instead, and this paid off handsomely, culminating in Model Y becoming the best-selling car in the world. The supply chain challenges, not a desire to build a car without controls, were the primary reason time to market was pushed back. I don't think that was an issue for BYD, though. Look at how many BEVs it has. That's quite a few. There's no more room for BYD to release new models, really, that will have a drastic change to their sales. I think this is pretty important to know. How do we know the CEO, Elon Musk, is still motivated? Elon liked V12 videos that Bradford did while on the Rebellionaire Road rally. First was a video where it got over 5 lanes to make a left turn in a short window. Second was a video I did with James Dama, liked both twice. Liking quote posts. If he didn't care, why would he lift a finger? The Tesla economist had a few more thoughts to share with everyone. The good news is deliveries don't matter at this stage. Tesla clearly isn't a car company, judging by the valuation and progress with autos. There's very little evidence of the car production growing anytime soon. In fact, zero evidence we have seen even. So you mean the next generation vehicle is not going to sell at all? I disagree with that. Tesla still remains the #1 BEV maker in the world, and the EV adoption, I believe, is going to continue, but temporarily we are going through a slowdown phase. Year over year in Q1 in the US specifically, EV market share actually declined, but I believe that to be temporary. Yet Tesla is still valued more than any other car company. This company is solely valued now on the hope that FSD will be solved. With the latest V12 updates, it looks like Tesla is actually making some great progress. However, it's moot as there is still no endpoint in sight. Actions speak louder than words, and if Tesla truly believed they would solve FSD soon, then they would be making autonomous vehicle factories. Aside from that, there's no energy growth, no battery progress, and an auto company with dwindling sales and production. Still nothing to get excited about, in my opinion. Now, obviously, the people that are buying Tesla stock today that see the potential of the next generation vehicle, that see the potential of FSD, that see the potential of Tesla's energy business, that see Elon Musk's potential to lead the company, these investors obviously are all going to be wrong, making Tesla stock 4.2% higher today. If you don't believe me, look at this right now. 4.20% exactly. Oh, but Matt, the markets are up today. Yeah, but nowhere near as much as 4.2%. And that's something to potentially get excited about. If you think that the economy is going to do really well and that interest rates are going to come down, that will have a disproportionate effect likely on Tesla stock. I think this is a fair point that Farzad makes. In the same way that there is a lot of dismissing of Tesla's obviously poor Q1 2024, there is an equal amount of the sky's falling rhetoric out there. It's never as good or as bad as it seems. One can make the argument that even in an automotive downturn, Tesla should perform very well against its peers because of its obvious superior value proposition. I think this is a fair argument and Tesla should do more to capitalize on this. I agree. However, to claim that the company somehow has messed up their strategy completely for the last 3 years is silly. The company has done 3 things during a historical global pandemic and significantly higher interest rates that no one else has done. Number 1, dramatically lowered EV pricing while staying profitable, allowing the company to offer the best value for money proposition for EVs, period. Developed an ADAS system that is leagues beyond anyone else at scale on 5-year-old hardware on the existing fleet using a method that is only 1.5 years old, end-to-end neural networks. And finally, launched an iconic vehicle that is taking the world by storm, Cybertruck. While these were achieved, all other automakers, say the Chinese, have clawed back their EV plans because they cannot make money with them. I understand the frustration short term, and there are valid critiques, but it's also important not to miss the forest from the trees. Meaning, you need to climb up to the highest tree, go higher, and then you will see the picture a little bit clearer. I think a lot of Tesla investors are probably feeling a bit better looking at the stock today. But with Tesla, you never know. By the time I publish this video, maybe the stock will be down. Although it seems quite unlikely for the stock to be down 5% from here. Oh, and here we go. It's now over 5%. I think Omar has a very good suggestion here. If you work at Tesla, please let the management know about this. Tesla shouldn't call it after tax credit. They should say after point of sale credit and explain that you get it off at the point of sale potentially. Whoa, check this out. 3D Park Assist is getting pretty accurate. Wow. Apple is exploring home robots as its potential next big thing after its car efforts failed. I am so looking forward to Apple developing a home robot for 10 years and then canceling it. In their new note, Morgan Stanley says near term, fearful, but long term, greedy. They revised their 2024 delivery estimate to 1.75 million vehicles, down 3.3% year over year. But in the next 12 months, they actually remain bullish. They think Tesla stock is going to $310. The benefit of Morgan Stanley reducing its Tesla 2024 deliveries forecast is that it sets the bar lower and removes the forecast risk on the Q1 earnings call of Tesla guidance to a year-over-year volume decline. Yeah, and despite that revision, the stock is up. I am not sure what I missed today. I haven't seen anything that would make Tesla stock go up this much. I mean, a Tesla engineer from FSD got poached by XAI. There was a price cut for the mega packs, although Elon did reiterate that demand is good for the mega packs. It just can we cut production costs. That's the main issue. And the markets are up a little bit. So I don't know, but it seems like the main reason why perhaps the stock is up is because of India, maybe. Usually for me, it's easy to tell why the stock is up or down. Oh, Tesla missed deliveries. Yes, the stock obviously is going to be down. Here's one bullish piece of news, I guess, though, for Tesla. Ford said Thursday it had delayed the planned launches of 3-row EVs in Canada and its next generation electric pickup truck in Tennessee as a slowdown in EV demand globally forces automakers to revise production plans. I think this probably sums up the whole day when you see Tesla stock is up 5% on no news. That's it for today's video. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet. And YouTube says you should watch this video next. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next episode.